Everything in life is created with a purpose. Have a look around the room and show me something that's in this room that doesn't have a purpose. Show me one. Have a look. Show me something in this room that doesn't have a purpose. And don't be pointing at Ron. All right? Don't do that. All right. Everything in life is created with purpose. We do it too, because we're in the God class. We're not God, but we're in God class. So we create too. So we create mugs and computers and glasses, but they all are functional in that they have purpose. We get that from our God. Everything in life is created with purpose. Purpose is the cause of creation. God didn't do it by accident. There was a purpose attached to creation. Within every purpose of God is potential. That's very important. Within every purpose of God is a potency. There's a power, there's a potency that is attached to purpose. Every purpose of God contains within it potential. Every purpose. So within every purpose, number 3, of God is potential. Potential is the ability built into creation to fulfill its own purpose. You understand what potential is? When God creates something intentionally, when God with purpose creates something, within that creation, within that purpose, he puts the ability for that thing to achieve that purpose. So he doesn't call it something and leave it without the potential to do it or be it. So with purpose, inherent in purpose from God is potential, the potency to fulfill its own purpose. Purpose produces potential. There would be no point of potential if there wasn't purpose. There'd be no need for it. So the very fact that potential is because purpose is. So purpose produces potency or potential. Purpose without potential is only frustrating. Example, if somebody give you a job or a position in a company, but didn't give you the authority or the resources or the abilities to be the manager or be the CEO, and you didn't have what it took to do it, how many of you know you may have a title, but you don't have the ability to fulfill it? It's frustrating. God will never give you a purpose without the potency within that purpose for you to do it. So when you find the purpose God has for you, when God introduces you to yourself in purpose, everything you need to do that has already been supplied. It's already inherent in it. Sometimes when you find out the purpose of God, say, it's bigger than me. I can't do it. That's not true. You can. It may be bigger than your understanding, but the potency is there. You actually can do it. When you find out what the purpose of God is for your life, the potency to do it is there. All with me? All right. So, 6 again, purpose without potential is only frustrating. Potential is protected by principles. So what's the start? What comes first? What comes first? Purpose. What comes after that? What comes after potential? Principle. What is a purpose? It is the reason for creation. It is the cause of creation. It is I'll explain purpose in a minute. Within purpose is the potency to fulfill it. But that potency, which is powerful, there's a power to potential, it has to have guardrails. Power has to have guardrails. And potential has the guardrails called principles to guide it, to channel it. So, 7, potential is protected by principle. Potential, without a principle, will only produce destruction because it's power. It needs guidelines, it needs guardrails, it needs channeling, it needs funneling. And principles are the key to directing potential correctly because it's power, it's potency. So, potential without principle will only produce destruction. Purpose is the original intention for creation. Potential is the inherent ability to complete and fulfill purpose, and principles are the inherent rules that protect purpose and potential. Did that all make sense to you?
So is sin anything outside of the guardrails?
Say that again?
Is sin anything outside of the guardrails?
And sin is an independent choice to not comply to this format, because you are a free will being. So you can take the purpose for your creation and misuse it. When you don't understand purpose of something, you will when you don't understand the purpose of something, you will probably misuse it. And at worst, you will abuse it. When you don't understand the purpose of a thing, when a man doesn't understand the purpose of a wife, he will, possibly abuse that. And if he certainly doesn't understand, at worst he will misuse it, and at worst he will abuse it. Because he doesn't understand. And likewise, if a wife doesn't understand the role or the purpose of a husband, she will and could possibly misuse it, or at worst abuse it. So when you don't know the purpose of a thing, abuse comes in. So sin allows you to independently walk away from a misuse or abuse purpose, and misuse or abuse your potency, your power, and not conform to the guardrails that control it. So yes, sin does that. Sin is your free will choice to walk away from this principle. The new birth experience is the intent through knowledge is to bring us back into line with it. That's why I'm explaining it. Still with me? All right. I believe these are the things that should be taught in church all the time, because they're so important. So important. So, potential without principle is only, and I'll read the last three, because the three of them are together. Purpose is the original intention for creation. Potential is the inherent ability to complete and fulfill that purpose. And principles are again the inherent rules that protect purpose and potential, that funnel and channel it the way it was meant to be. So I put this little graph down below that. Purpose is why something exists. That's the why. When I look at you or people around me, you exist. There's a why you exist. You exist for a purpose. That's why you exist. Potential is what it is capable of. So when I look at your why, within that why is a what you are capable of too. because that's connected to your purpose. You have the inherent ability to produce it. It's called potential. Principles are how it is to be done. So, purpose is the why, potential is what it can do, and the principles are how it's to be done. Laws exercise purpose, potential, and principles. They're what activate it. They're what cause purpose and potential and principles to function. So they're not restrictive, they're liberating. They're not controlling, they are, in fact, they inspire you to fulfill your purpose and to release your potential and to funnel it through principles, and laws allow you to do that. They are the excuse for activating all of this. Does all that make sense? Everybody, any questions on that? All good? Question or a comment? There is a difference.
I just wrote down that potential is unacted upon potency. That's faith and action. You can't just know it, you gotta also do it. The potential, unless we act upon that potential, it just lays dormant. We have to take action with our faith, with our beliefs.
You're ahead of me, but I'll get there. You're actually right, but I'll get there, okay? If I can get through this next little section, I'll get there and I'll explain potential. Okay, let me first, if I may, go through the four of them. You've got purpose, potential, principles, and laws. And that's the way they work. So again, when I mentioned principles and laws, as I did at the beginning of this whole series, people were probably thinking it's something to do to gain acceptance or credibility with God. It's something to keep me in check, something to keep me in line, something I've got to do to restrict my freedom. Totally wrong. You're totally 180 degrees wrong, because you're interpreting laws and principles based upon human laws, which are used to bring a society into line because they're out of line. And the more out of line they are, the more laws they introduce. And they're constantly amending them to bring everybody into line and make everybody feel safe and so on and so forth. But this set of laws and principles have nothing to do, they're not interpreted the same way. These laws and principles have everything to do with your purpose and your potential. They're not restrictive. They're the reason to activate and liberate your purpose and principle. So you need them.